Today, I'm going to tell you all about our recent Scarlet Lady sailing. This was a 5-night cruise out of Miami that went to Cozumel and the Bimini Beach Club. And we had 2 sea days. We got a pretty good deal on this cruise. It was around $1,900 total for my husband and I to have a guaranteed terrace stateroom. If you'd like to hear more about our adventure, please keep watching. Hello, everyone. How are you? I hope you are having a splendid day. And if you're new here, welcome. So this cruise was really interesting because on my previous 2 cruises on the Scarlet Lady, we were rock stars. We were staying in suites. But this time we were just regular sailors. I was really interested to see how this cruise would compare to our previous sailings. Another unique thing about this cruise is that the Scarlet Lady was at 91% capacity. And in fact, we were told it had the most sailors ever for any cruise. And overall, I have to say, I was really impressed with how the crew handled the crowds. So with that intro out of the way, let's dive in. We arrived at the port of Miami around 2 p.m. That's when the Scarlet Lady begins the boarding process. We had a boarding time of 2:45 p.m., but my husband and I are members of this sailing club, which is Virgin's loyalty program. And as part of the perks, we do get priority boarding. When we arrived, it was very chaotic. There were tons and tons of people there. Virgin was trying to section everyone off according to their boarding times, but it seemed like a lot of people arrived before their assigned time slots. This hectic scene was very, very different from our suite sailings. When you are a rock star, you have a dedicated check-in area with a VIP waiting area. That's very, very nice. When you're a regular sailor, people are just corralled into different sections outside the terminal. Oh, I just did a video about how to avoid lines and waiting when you're taking a Scarlet Lady cruise, and I give a lot of good tips about embarkation. I will link that video at the end if you'd like to check it out. So my husband and I located the area for sailing club members, and we joined that group, and then we took the escalator up to security. When we got through security into the check-in area, we went to the line specifically for sailing club members. But they had no record of us being members, so we showed them proof that we were part of the loyalty program, and they were very confused. They didn't know why they didn't have us on the list for sailing club members. But they checked us in and told us that we would need to go to sailor services once we were on board. And this was the beginning of a very frustrating process for us. I won't bore you with all the details, but basically this is what happened. When we made the reservation, Virgin somehow assigned us brand new passenger ID numbers instead of linking this reservation to our previous sailings. My husband and I figured this out pretty quickly. We realized we had 2 different passenger ID numbers, so we figured we would go to guest services and it would be an easy fix. But we were mistaken. We ended up going to sailor services 5 different times on this 5-night sailing, and the issue was never fully resolved. They were able to give us some of our perks by removing like the $10 charge for specialty coffee that we are allowed per day. But other perks we didn't get at all. We missed out on a few amenities because we were never recognized as loyalty club members. This was one of the times that I really missed being a rock star and having a dedicated concierge to handle issues like this one. Side note, but the issue still isn't resolved, and we have had to call Virgin a few times, but hopefully we will get it resolved before our next sailing. But overall, this wasn't a huge deal. It was more of a minor frustration. As I mentioned, when we booked this cruise, we selected a guaranteed terrace stateroom, and we were very pleased that we were assigned a central sea terrace instead of an obstructed view terrace. Our stateroom was a standard size, plenty of room for the 2 of us. The bed is really low. That is one of the things that surprised me. The Rockstar beds are like regular beds. The one in our standard cabin was much lower, but it was comfortable and I have no complaints about our room. The stateroom had plenty of storage for our 5-night sailing. The closet was a decent size and there was space to hang up garments as well as drawers. There were also wicker bins on the bottom shelves that we used for dirty laundry. The hooks on the outside of the closet were very useful. There was also a very large drawer right next to the bed, and in the back of the drawer, there were extra towels and linens, but we didn't discover that until day 3 or 4 of the cruise. But there was still room for clothes, and the tray on the top was handy for jewelry and sunglasses. We had a standard-sized terrace with 2 chairs and a hammock, and our room was right above the pizza place. My husband in particular loves the hammock, and he spent a lot of time out there relaxing and reading on the balcony. The bathroom was small, but it met our needs. It had a nice rain shower with really good water pressure. And there were some toiletries, including body wash, shampoo, and conditioner. There was no lotion or hand soap by the sink, but you could use the body wash from the shower. We liked our stateroom, and our attendant was nice. But for the first time on any cruise, including Margaritaville, we did not get evening turndown service. On a couple nights, we got fresh towels, and on most nights, he replaced the water. But he never took out the garbage and never straightened up the bed. It was very inconsistent. One night we get towels and no water. The next night we get water, no towels, that sort of thing. Now you'll have to tell me what you think of this, but I have a theory that he may have thought this was our first Virgin cruise because according to our passenger records, this was our first cruise, even though we had been on many other Virgin cruises. And I'm wondering if he thought that we didn't know we were supposed to get turned down service. But I don't know. It's a mystery. We didn't complain, and it didn't negatively affect our cruise, but it was strange. So we've covered our stateroom. Now I'm going to touch briefly on the crowd. And as I said, this was a very full sailing. Of course, the pool was very crowded on sea days. And by late afternoon, the water in the middle had a brown tinge due to all the sunscreen, etc. But the high number of sailors didn't negatively impact our cruise, and I applaud the crew how they handled it overall. We had very good dining experiences at the Wake Steakhouse, Razzle Dazzle, Pink Agave, the Mexican restaurant, and Extra Virgin, the Italian restaurant. The only negative experience was at Gung Bay. An hour after seating, they still hadn't started cooking, and they did not come and ask us if we wanted another drink. We were sitting there with empty drinks in front of us. One of the guests that we were seated with was pregnant, and she was getting pretty hungry, and I have to say I was getting pretty hangry myself. But our other 4 dinners went very smoothly, and the food, as always, was very good. We did get to see one show on this cruise. It was the only one that we could get reservations to, and it was called Around the World in 80 Minutes with the Diva. This was a one-person drag show, and it was in the Manor nightclub. My husband and I saw it one afternoon on a sea day. The show is silly, campy, and very funny. There is some audience participation, and everyone in the crowd really seemed to have a great time. My husband even got a drag name, Jessica Jersey. I definitely recommend this show. Get in line early if you want to get a seat. I suggest 30 minutes before showtime, and make sure to go to the lower level for better viewing. Other than that, our entertainment centered around the On the Rocks bar, and that is where they have live musical performances. The Slam Allen Blues Band was on this sailing, and we were so happy they were on board. We saw them on a previous Scarlet Lady Cruise, and they are amazing. And a special shout out to Igor and Andrew, who were the absolute best bartenders. They made hanging out in the On the Rocks bar really fun. Scarlet Night, unfortunately, was a bit of a disappointment. There was lightning, so they moved the festivities into the Red Room, which is where some shows are performed. It wasn't nearly big enough for the number of passengers on board, and the line to get in was a mile long. This wasn't a big issue for us because we have sailed on the Scarlet Lady before, but I did feel bad for the passengers who this was their first sailing. A lot of people completely missed out on the festivities, and the pool party is so much fun. Our ports were Cozumel and the Bimini Beach Club, and for the first time, we did not get off the ship at Bimini. With such a full sailing, we really thought it would be nice to have this ship to ourselves and just relax. So that's what we did. We've been to Bimini Beach Club a few times, and it is absolutely beautiful, but we had just had a wonderful beach day in Cozumel. So we hung out on deck, had a hot tub to ourselves, took a swim in the pool, and went to the thermal spa, and it was really nice. So that's an overview of our sailing, but here are some general impressions. I was very surprised to see such a large number of 20-somethings on this cruise. There were definitely a lot more 20-somethings than on our previous sailings. Also, people were a lot more casual on this cruise. Virgin doesn't have a dress code, so that's not a problem. But on my past sailings, it seemed like people really tried to dress up a lot more, and we saw t-shirts, tank tops, and ball caps a lot on this cruise. Service, for the most part, was excellent, and the crew was so friendly. This might have been because the cruise right before us was a corporate cruise where they rented out the entire Scarlet Lady, and we heard from a few of the crew members that they were impossible and very rowdy and very demanding. And they kept telling us how happy they were to have regular paying sailors on board. We definitely got our money's worth, and you can't ask for much more. I have more Virgin videos coming, so please subscribe if you don't want to miss those. If you like my content, it really helps me out. Oh, and I was on the phone with Virgin today, and I am going to have a very exciting announcement in the next few weeks, so stay tuned for that. My next video, by the way, will be all about Nachi Kokum, an all-inclusive in Cozumel that we visited on this sailing. I have a lot to share, and this may be of interest to you if you are planning a cruise that stops in Cozumel. And that's it. I hope you found this video informative. Give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. If you'd like to talk Virgin cruising with me just a little bit longer, I will link to videos at the end that I think you might like. The video on the left is how to avoid lines, waiting, and overall frustration on the Scarlet Lady. And the video on the right is tasty secrets of the Scarlet Lady, all about lesser known food and dining options. Until next time, I hope you have happy and safe travels. I appreciate you and thank you so much for watching. Bye.